like they said, my name's Caitlin Hall, and my story is called A Beautiful Storm. My mother is like a storm. It's crashing and destruction-filled, yet oddly beautiful. But when it's gone, it's calm and chaotic, and people are left struggling to pick up the broken debris. When my mother and my father were in high school, they were madly in love, like all high school couples think that they are, which produced my older brother Dylan at 16. So after he was born, they got married. They had me a little while later, and then they got a divorce at about 19 or 20. When you're a teenager faced with raising a young kid, your life can split into two different paths. You can go down path A, which is the desirable path, and it's filled with success and your kids are pretty okay. Or you can go down path B, which you're basically riding the struggle bus, and it's a life of struggle and obviously less desirable. Since my parents split and they both wanted to be involved in raising us, my life split into both directions. My father, he went down path A, and he got remarried. He's back there. And he started his own company, and he worked really hard, and life's pretty good over there. But my mother, she chose path B, the latter path. And it was struggling to pay rent and switching from job to job and moving from house to house. Sorry. She tried to make it to go down path A. She went to JCTC, the community college, but she didn't finish, which resulted in not getting a good stable job. So when we moved a lot. I like to think of it that it was an adventure. It was fun because I was young at the time, little short Caitlin. Woohoo, adventure! But we lived anywhere from apartments to J-Town to places where I would sometimes hear gunshots in the morning and I would be scared to fall asleep that night, to a bunch of friends and family's houses, anywhere from Indiana to any part of Kentucky, to, in the last couple of days that we were with her, we were in a hotel room. And my brother, since he was older, he kind of understood it more. They told him more about what was going on, and he became a little isolated and a little weird, and I didn't understand, so I was confused as to why he was not talking to me, but I was like, okay, whatever, you're a teenager, you're weird, you're moody. So, yeah. So it was always kind of rocky with my mom, considering we moved a lot. But when my grandmother passed away, that's when we really noticed her falling into this downward spiral. And it wasn't noticeable at first, but then she would skip work to sleep for 12 to 14 hours a day. And once we noticed that, then it became clear that she was slacking in other aspects. She would not clean the house, she would let us skip school for any reason, she didn't care what we ate, and she would chain smoke. But she was also a lover. She loved us really aggressively, and half the time it was kind of scary and it was smothering. Not she didn't actually smother us. But that's where I learned how to love the way that I do, and it's caring and it's hugging. I hug a lot, and it's grabbing on like a leech and not wanting to let go. And so whenever she had a free hour from work, or she was in the right mindset, we'd probably be found in her bedroom, on her bed, burrowed under tons of blankets watching Friends, and I say Friends in particular because we had all 10 seasons on DVD, like the collector's edition, like we were friends like maniacs. But if we took a minute to peek past the blankets, we could see that life with her, as we knew it, was slipping out of our grasp. And I guess I could have realized it a lot earlier that things were going to change when we were in the hotel room with her. And when she would stop picking us up from my dad's house, and she would stop leaving petty excuses as to why she would not pick us up, and she would just stop calling us altogether. She would still text us saying that she loved us, but it's hard to accept love from an emotionless form of communication, so I refused to accept that that was the best that she could give us. And eventually I felt neglected and I felt abandoned, and these feelings led to long, draining hours of therapy that led to nowhere, and I cried myself to sleep a lot of the nights because I didn't know how to express my emotion. And this feeling of depression came over me, and I didn't want to do anything, and I didn't want to get attached to anybody, and I just wanted to stay in bed. But pretty recently, somewhere along the line, I realized that I shouldn't hurt for somebody who's not in my life anymore. And she hasn't been a part of my life for 3 or 4 years. I kind of lost count. And it's not that bad that I don't think about her as much as I should, because that's what time will do. It'll let you move on. So the storm that is my mother has crashed, and it has wreaked its havoc on me, but it has not defeated me. It has only strengthened me. And I'm a better person now than I thought I ever could be than when I was with her. I'm more passionate, and I'm obviously more outgoing because I'm up here telling a story about my personal life that I never would have done before. And I'm slowly, one by one, I'm picking up my broken pieces, and I'm turning them into something that could have been potentially tragic into something gracefully